everybody, it's Christina Holloway here. Happy New Year and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that could make or break your leadership journey in 2025, the leadership styles you should avoid. Whether you're managing a team, leading a project, or working toward your next promotion, this video will help you identify behaviors that could hold you back and, more importantly, what to do instead. Stick around until the end because I'm sharing actionable strategies for leaders to evolve away from ineffective styles and adopt practices aligned with modern leadership trends. I'm going to reference some research as well, so the links for everything will be included in the description below. All right, so let's get started. Let's start with the leadership styles that are no longer effective in today's workplace. The way we lead is evolving, and these outdated styles are holding people back. Micromanaging, rigid hierarchical leadership, and authoritarian leadership. We can see a theme here. This is about control. How can I control the people I manage? And how can I control the outcomes so they don't reflect poorly on me? It's a very self-centered approach to leadership. So let's take a look at each one. Micromanaging. You've heard it before. Micromanaging kills creativity and trust. So micromanagement involves excessively controlling or closely observing the work of subordinates. This approach can stifle creativity, reduce autonomy, and lead to decreased job satisfaction. As remote work continues to grow, this style will only become more toxic. Leaders who want to be successful this year will focus on outcomes rather than hovering over their team to get things a specific way. In fact, a study by Walden University highlights that traditional management practices, including micromanagement, are increasingly viewed as outdated in modern workspaces. The emphasis is shifting toward evaluating tangible results rather than fixating on physical presence or minute details. At the heart of this evolution is the fact that good, smart people won't stay where they feel they can't learn and develop their skills. Rigid hierarchical leadership. Rigid hierarchical leadership relies on strict organizational structures with clear, unyielding chains of command. Too much inflexibility can create stagnation and hinder responsiveness and collaboration in a dynamic work environment. According to Forbes, encouraging vertical silos and maintaining strict hierarchies are considered outdated practices in the modern workplace. Contemporary organizations benefit more from horizontal connections and collaborative approaches, building bridges to foster collaboration and cooperation. In addition, a white paper posted to OC Tanner argues that traditional leadership models that emphasize rigid hierarchies have been found to be less effective in today's mobile, deskless, and autonomous workforce. So, companies adhering to these models, when the business around them is changing, may struggle with employee engagement and adaptability. That means modern organizations are becoming more collaborative. Adopting a more flexible, team-oriented approach can enhance communication and adaptability. Authoritarian leadership. Authoritarian leadership is characterized by individual control over decisions with little input from group members. This style can suppress employee engagement and creativity. Command and control approaches no longer work. Employees want a collaboration and psychological safety. Now, authoritarian leadership has its place. Organizations can lean into it, especially during high-stakes transformational efforts where there's little room for error. In general, though, if you work in a steady environment where the business is established and everyone has settled into routines, then authoritarian leadership will create a climate of fear if there's no reason for it. It leaves little room for dialogue and reduces team members' satisfaction. People don't like it if they don't see the purpose for it. Companies with authoritarian leaders often experience higher turnover rates and lower employee morale. This is because the lack of collaborative decision-making can lead to dissatisfaction and disengagement. Again, what we're finding is that in the fast-changing business environment, workforces are more likely to join companies to learn and grow. Employees are more educated and skilled than they ever were before, and they want to contribute something of value when they show up to work. So, what happens when leaders stick to these ineffective styles? Well, they create a broken environment where toxic behavior can catch on and thrive. And, well, if you're watching this video, you've likely seen this happen around you. It's real and it can take hold quickly. So, let's break down some of the bad habits and behavior patterns that will emerge with ineffective leadership styles. Passive leadership could emerge. A person who's not empowered to make decisions or take actions will avoid conflict or fail to provide clear direction. This creates confusion, frustration, and wasted potential. When team leads struggle to take ownership or fail to set expectations, then accountability goes out the window. An example of this is when projects often become stagnant or fail to reach completion and team leads start playing the blame game. And I know you've heard this before. I would have succeeded if I had a better team of people. Sorry, but you don't know how to lead, and you weren't given the authority to lead them effectively. And then that leads to erosion of trust. Employees may perceive passive leaders as disinterested or incompetent. And that's the thing, you don't have to be incompetent, but if you have a really ineffective leadership style, all your hard work and expertise will begin to erode if you use passive behavior to get things done. So if you see passive leadership, then address it. The opposite of being passive, let's let things happen and then deal with them, is to be active. I can see what's coming, so I'm going to take action to deal with it. To do this, create a structured plan for decision-making and team accountability. Overly empathetic leadership could also start to take hold. Having empathy is a good thing. It's the ability to relate to someone else's struggles and understand where they're coming from, especially if they're struggling with tasks. But without accountability or measurement for improvement, empathetic leadership becomes too permissive. And the biggest pitfall is a lowering of overall standards. And you eventually end up with team resentment. High performers will become frustrated if underperformers face no consequences. In order to be taken seriously and not like a pushover marshmallow, it's important to pair empathy with accountability to foster a supportive but high-performing team culture. Make sure to find balance with empathy and accountability. You can have empathy for people. You know, it's unfortunate that your deliverables completely fell short, and I feel for you. But also use coaching techniques to understand employee challenges while setting clear expectations. How are you going to prepare better so this doesn't happen again? Another pitfall is transactional leadership, which focuses on short-term rewards and punishments to drive behavior, and it misses the bigger picture of team effectiveness. It's a symptom of micromanaging, and it's mostly due to small, constrained thinking. You'll see this in a leader who's afraid of risk, cannot make decisions, and stays so focused on what's in front of them that they miss the bigger picture. Teams need inspiration and a sense of purpose. Without that, there is no emotional connection to the work they're doing. As a result, team members may feel like cogs in a machine. If their ideas and input are ignored or not valued, they'll eventually just stop trying, which will lead to missed opportunities. Transactional leaders often fail to inspire their teams. If you find yourself leaning into this behavior, then make an effort to incorporate transformational elements to inspire and engage your teams, aligning short-term goals with a larger vision. Make sure to pair transactional methods with vision-driven goals to foster innovation and engagement. That gives people a roadmap for how they can be successful. Do this, but don't do that, as well as an open road to contribute and experiment from their own unique perspective. This allows them to create value above and beyond just doing things the one right way. Now, let's look at what's replacing these outdated approaches. Here are 3 really popular leadership approaches that are taking hold in modern successful organizations. Coaching and mentoring leadership. Leaders are increasingly expected to act as coaches and mentors rather than traditional managers. This trend emphasizes guiding employees to achieve their potential rather than micromanaging tasks. Here's why it matters. A Deloitte study found that 79% of employees value mentorship in their career development, making it a critical leadership skill in 2025. So, how can you incorporate this now? Leaders should focus on active listening, personalized feedback, and facilitating growth opportunities for their team members and high performers. Adaptive leadership. Adaptive leadership focuses on flexibility and responsiveness to navigate uncertainty, such as technological disruptions, economic shifts, or global crises. Here's why it matters. According to McKinsey, adaptive leaders are 1.7 times more likely to deliver strong organizational outcomes during periods of change. How can you start being an adaptive leader now? Leaders should prioritize continuous learning, scenario planning, and empowering teams to handle ambiguity. Diversity, equity, and inclusion in leadership. Leadership in 2025 will emphasize fostering diverse, equitable, and inclusive workplaces. And the reality is that this approach not only aligns with social expectations, but it also drives innovation and performance. Research by Boston Consulting Group showed that companies with diverse leadership are 45% more likely to report increased market share. Therefore, leaders who are paying attention should actively address unconscious bias, create safe spaces for open dialogue and different points of view, and champion diverse hiring and promotion practices. Integration of technology in leadership. Adaptive technology is becoming a bigger focus for businesses in 2025. In the past, people with engineering degrees or developers were happy to do their work and not worry about roles in leadership. These days, that ability to understand a rapidly changing tech environment could position a person very well for a leadership role. Leveraging technology to improve workflows, using data analytics to facilitate decision making, finding a way to leverage AI tools for better productivity, and especially cybersecurity measures that help organizations stay safe. These are all ways the workplace will evolve in coming years. And it's becoming more important that leaders at least understand this changing environment so that they can navigate it effectively. Finally, let's focus on actionable strategies that you can use to evolve away from ineffective styles and adopt practices aligned with modern leadership trends. Transition from micromanaging to trust-based leadership. Set clear objectives. Define what success looks like for tasks and projects. Ensure team members know what's expected without needing constant supervision. Empower decision-making. Delegate authority to team members and allow them to make decisions within their scope of work. Use technology for monitoring. Replace micromanagement with tools like dashboards that track progress without constant check-ins. Encourage problem solving. Ask open-ended questions like, what approach do you think would work best, to build employee confidence. Replace rigid hierarchies with collaborative leadership. Foster open communication. Hold regular team meetings where all members can share ideas and feedback. Encourage cross-functional teams. Break down silos by having employees from different departments work together on projects. Create role clarity. Even in collaborative settings, define who's accountable for decisions to prevent confusion. Evolve from authoritarian to participative leadership. Solicit feedback. Regularly ask employees for input on decisions, creating a culture of inclusivity. Share decision making. Use methods like consensus building or voting for team decisions where appropriate. Build psychological safety. Ensure team members feel safe expressing opinions without fear of criticism. Address passive leadership with proactive strategies. Set regular check-ins. Schedule one-on-one meetings to provide clear guidance and address challenges early. Use clear metrics. Define measurable goals and hold yourself and your team accountable for achieving them. Develop decision-making confidence. Practice making decisions quickly, even on small issues, to build confidence in leadership. Balance empathy with accountability. Set expectations early. Pair empathy with clear goals and timelines. Ensure employees understand both support and expectations. Use constructive feedback. Frame feedback as an opportunity for growth while acknowledging individual challenges. Recognize and reward accountability. Celebrate employees who meet goals, reinforcing positive behavior. Transform transactional leadership into visionary leadership. Define a shared vision. Connect day-to-day tasks to a larger organizational purpose or goal. Motivate with inspiration. Share stories of past successes or future possibilities to inspire the team. Celebrate milestones. Recognize progress toward the vision, not just completed tasks. Leaders must actively reflect on their current style and make deliberate efforts to adapt. Ask yourself, what leadership habits do I need to unlearn? Which new practices can I start implementing today? Reflect on your own leadership and consider what small changes you can make today that will have an impact on the people around you. As I mentioned before, and to help you dive deeper, I've included all the resources we discussed in the notes below with links. Use them to explore further and build your leadership toolkit. All right, so that's it for my video on the leadership styles you should definitely avoid in 2025 and what to do instead. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below. What leadership trends are you noticing in your workplace? Let's discuss in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed watching this video and you found it helpful, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up by hitting that like button and make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you never miss another video from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.